Come on, baby.
First speaker today is from Hawaii. We thought it'd be appropriate. Let's hear it. Now, I was talking to Dylan a little bit before the event. I go, what's kind of cool about you? Did you win a watermelon eating contest? You know how to throw hatchets? Can you shoot the bow and arrow? Or, did you win a spelling bee when you were 5 years old? And he goes, the only thing I can think of is when I was in high school, I ran a 10,000 acre ranch here in Hawaii. His dream was always to be a cowboy. And instead, he's here as an EXP superstar agent. He's built a huge business. Help him buck to the stage. Dylan Nonoka. Give him a hand, everybody. Woo! Come on, baby.
Hello, everybody. Aloha. All right. It's just such an honor to be up here today and welcome you guys to my islands.
Always.
Coming to these events absolutely changed my life. I'll tell you more about that story. But I always had the intent, it wasn't a dream come true, but an intent come true that one day I would have done enough in this company to be able to be up here sharing and giving back to what's the company has given so much to me. So absolute honor. Thank you guys. Welcome to the islands. Since I'm leading off the day, I'm going to talk about leadership. But before we get into that, we're in Hawaii, right? So I'm going to give you guys a quick cultural Hawaiian lesson, all right? It's just going to encompass a lot of what I'm going to talk about today. So everybody, say it with me. Kina.
Kina.
Ole.
Ole.
Kina.
Kina.
Ole.
Ole.
Kina ole.
Kina ole.
All right. This is what in Hawaiian, there's literal translations and then there's poetic and more philosophical translations. And this word doesn't have a direct translation. It's more of a philosophical, poetic translation. And this is what it means. I will do the right thing in the right way at the right time, in the right place, to the right person, for the right reasons, and with the right feeling the first time I do it. All right? So this is your Hawaiian word for the week, you guys. Every time I see you and we see you at the bar afterwards at the beach, you got to tell me kina ole. You guys got it? And hopefully you have the definition memorized, all right? All right, so we're in a shifting market. Like Brent said, 2023 is going to be awesome. But it's time to lead, guys. This industry, this company, our communities need leaders. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. We've all seen this quote before, right? Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And we're going to be going into some hard times. And not a recession and, the market crashing and all of that stuff. We're going to go into times when it's going to be harder to recruit agents. It's going to be harder to retain agents. It's going to be harder to get listings, harder to get buyers. Things are going to get harder, and we're just going to have to get better. And it's going to be time to lead. Agents are going to need leadership. They're going to need inspiration. They're going to need a reason to go out there and do the hard thing. And so just keep that in mind, is that's what I want us to focus on today, is really think about if you want to build your business, you want to build a company, you want to build a revenue share organization, people are going to need leaders. And are you going to be that leader? You're going to step up and do it. So going back, I'm going to give you my 20-year overnight success story. And this is something that, I always reiterate to people that they see where you're at in life. We see where Brent is at and where Gene is at. And, local agents here see where I'm at. And they think like we just was born this way, right? And just remember, you're a work in progress. Stuff can happen way faster than you think it can. And we all have a story, right, that led us to where we are. And so this is a little bit about just my background and where I came up with my philosophy for leadership, and has really benefited me through the rest of my life and, brought me to where I am today. So I was born and raised in Kona, like Brent said, thought I was going to be a cowboy. Broken home, I had parents divorced when I was 5, pretty poor, like nothing special. But I had a good childhood, a lot of love in my life, pretty typical kid in Kona. In Hawaii, you're not born to have or you're not encouraged to have a lot of aspiration. I call it like the coconut ceiling. There's this idea in Japanese culture. I'm half Japanese, right? It's called don't be tantaran, like don't show off, right? And it almost breeds a culture of mediocrity, which my mom, who was from New York, didn't really buy into. So luckily, I had her to kind of counterbalance that and tell me every night I was the best. That's what she told me. If there's a secret to being a good parent, she told me every night before I went to bed, you're the best. And I still, to this day, I'm trying to prove her right? So just think about that when you talk to your kids at night. Right. I wasn't sure what I was going to do in life. graduated high school. I didn't think I was smart enough to go to college. Definitely didn't have the money. I didn't want to get stuck working in Kona. So the next best option is join the Marine Corps, I guess, right? So wasn't really a dream of mine, but my uncle had been in. So I 1999, 20 years apiece. I joined the Marines. Best decision ever I made in my life. And we all know how that ends, right? 2001, the Twin Towers. 2003, in February. I come home for Christmas in December, tell everybody I'm about to go to a deployment in Okinawa and sit in Okinawa for 6 months. Come back to base in January, and in February we're in Kuwait waiting to invade Iraq. So I was part of the first infantry forces to cross the border into Iraq, crossed into Baghdad later in the campaign. And that's how my journey ended in the service. But that really gave me a lot of lessons about leadership, about how I see life, and I'm going to talk about that with the rest of my talk today. In 2003, I came home and I went to UH Hilo on the Big Island, got my bachelor's degree. I met a girl on leave who became my wife when I came home from Iraq, and she was going to school at UH Hilo, so I thought it'd be a good idea just to follow her and go to school. So again, real strategic decision in my life, but that's how I ended up at UH Hilo. In 2006, I got a job working for the governor in Hawaii, and I had this idea when I came home after my experiences in Iraq that I wanted to change the world and make our community a better place, and I did that for 10 years and was pretty unsuccessful, if you know Hawaii politics at all. So reevaluated what I wanted to do. At this point, I had 2 kids. I was spending a lot of time away from home. I wasn't making a lot of money, and my mom, I had gotten my real estate license in college. My mom was a broker for years, and she made me get my license. And I had it on ice, and then she tells me one day, you should reactivate your real estate license. And I said, I don't know about that. And my wife tells me the same thing that night, and they didn't talk to each other. So there's no signs, right? There's no coincidences. So I took that sign. I said, I'll reactivate my real estate license. So I did that after 10 years in politics. I did that in 2015. Joined my mom and my stepdad at Coldwell Banker franchise, and was hunky-dory. Everything was good. We were moderately successful. I was selling 9, 10 million a year, doing 25 deals a year. And I'm going to tell you about how I got to EXP. But in EXP, I came to EXP in December of 18, so 19 was my first year. And today in 2022, we have the #1 team in Hawaii, and we ended the year as the number 20 team in all of EXP in just 4 short years here at EXP. Totally mind-blowing, but then now, where's Kenny Fast at? We're coming for you, Kenny. Number 20, we're coming for you, right? So what the heck is EXP? How did I get here? The point of this story, you guys, is you never know who needs you, right? You never know who needs your help in business. And when I was at Coldwell Banker with my mom and my stepdad, the franchise was acquired. We didn't own it, but my stepdad pretty much ran it for like 30 years. And so when the new owners came in, I'm a total vibe culture guy, and I didn't like the vibe of the new owners. So I started looking. Nobody would ever recruit me because I'm there with my mom and my dad. It was a little family operation. We didn't own it, but it was pretty much ran the brokerage. And so I started looking, and I found KW, and I was like, hey, this is a different model. They were trying to open a franchise on the Big Island, so I was thinking about looking into that. And then I was doing my deep due diligence in the most credible source possible, YouTube, right? And I started seeing all these mega agents leaving other brokerages, going to EXP. And I'm like, what the heck is EXP? And I haven't heard of it before. And literally after spending a couple of nights staying up late watching the 3 napkin presentation by Gene and all this, whatever video I could find online, I was fascinated by this model. I got a call from my sponsor, John. We had a mutual friend. He just cold called me, said, I'm sure you're happy where you're at, but have you ever heard of the opportunity EXP? And I said, I just spent like 3 hours watching YouTube videos last night. Tell me more. And signed up with him like a week later, right? Got my stuff in order, and I switched. The point to this, you guys, is you never know who needs to be called. You all sit there and say, well, that person won't switch, or that person isn't ready, or that person, wouldn't sign up with me. You never know who that right person is. And I've since added 100 people to his RevShare organization, right? And because he made the call, had no prior relationship, he had no reason to call me, but that was the call I needed at the time. So you never know who's ready to be called and who you need to be calling. So don't be afraid to make that call. Once we got here to EXP, stuff got real fast. It was more than I could have ever expected. I came here with my brother and a couple of agents. We did 43 million our first year, and I went to Red Rock. I was just telling Drew about this, Brent. Red Rock changed my life. I went there. Chris Okamura, who's a little bit further up in my organization, invited me. It was kind of a stretch. It was kind of expensive to go to Vegas. I wasn't in a place where I had a ton of disposable income, but I went there and I saw Jay Kinder and Mike Reese and all of these killers who had these huge organizations, these huge teams, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, these dudes ain't no smarter than me. If they can do this, I can do that, right? So I was like, we're going to do this. So we came home. We started working. 2020, we had a little bit of growth. I got to 22 agents on my team. We did 57 million that year. It was kind of a slow year, right? We know what happened in 2020. Nobody could come to Hawaii, so it was a little bit rough. But then in 21, things went crazy. We went to 135 million, went to 47 agents by the end of the year. In 22, we finished the year at almost 200 million and 83 agents. And we just added 15 more. Where's my Maui crew at? Woo! So we're expanding to Maui, and we're just gonna keep going, right? I mean, this model is a rocket ship, you guys. And if you're not leveraging it for what it provides you, you're making a mistake. Because if I can do it, you can do it. That's the bottom line. I'm not special. I don't have a superpower. I didn't come here with a coaching company. I didn't come here with a big team. I mean, I came here with my brother and a couple of loyal friends that would have followed me off a cliff. And we've built the #1 team in the state and the #20 team in all of EXP. All right. So getting into leadership, you guys, I got kind of breaking this down into production and attraction. So my definition, or to me, the true test of a leader, right, is a leader isn't somebody who orders you towards gunfire and then you go in towards the gunfire, right? A leader is somebody who will move towards the gunfire themselves, and everybody's going to follow them because they trust in them that much and they have that much confidence. That's what you got to be as a leader. That's the standard of leadership that I want to follow, and that's the standard of leadership I hold myself to for my team if I expect them to follow me, right? So it's kind of dramatic, but the stakes are that high, right? If we take it seriously, the stakes are that high. Because when it comes to production, it's a no-fail mission, you guys. Like, there's no plan B, right? We got to burn the boats. We know all the sayings, right? You have to treat everything that we do as a no-fail mission. And if you look at it as life and death, it's a lot easier to see it that way. As a leader, we got to provide mission and end state. This is a military concept, right? But we don't do it enough as leaders. This is vision, right? We got to provide our people that entrust us with leadership with what is the mission? What are we going to do? We're going to take that hill, and why? Because we got to secure it for X, Y, and Z purpose, right? Very easy. You don't tell them how to do it. You tell them what we need to do. And that's a big thing that lacks in the world, is a lot of people who want to lead want to micromanage, and they want to tell everybody, and they want to be in charge of everything, and they want to touch everything. And that's not your job as a leader. Your job as a leader is to provide vision, provide mission, provide end state. What does it look like at the end? And then let your people go to work, because they're going to impress you every single day of the week. We got to make decisions, you guys. This is a big thing that people fail to do, is be indecisive, right? And we have to be out there. When people count on us to make a hard decision, you got to make the hard decision. I tell my agents that all the time. Like, don't ever put me in a position to make a hard decision that's going to negatively affect you, because I'm going to do that. That's my job, right? Do the right thing Kina ole. Do the right thing all the time, and we're never going to be in that situation, because I'll make the hard decision if you force me to. Discipline equals freedom. This is one of my favorite concepts. People think that discipline equals less freedom, but if we have the discipline to invest in our health early on in life and take care of ourselves, we're going to have the freedom to live a longer, more prosperous life. And that applies to everything, right? If we have the discipline in our finances, we're going to have more freedom in the future when we retire. If we have the discipline to do our lead gen every day, we're going to have more business in the future. So think about having the discipline today as a delayed gratification in the future, because too often we want that immediate gratification that doesn't lead to long-term prosperity or success. And the last one, leaders eat last. This is about sacrificing your personal well-being, your personal comfort for what's best for the team. And too many leaders or people that have difficulty finding people who want to follow them put their personal interests ahead of everybody else's, right? And this is there's a great book called by Simon Sinek called Leaders Eat Last. But the concept is that when the chow comes, the highest ranking person eats last to make sure everybody else gets fed before them, because they're the ones that are going to be in the trenches fighting, and you should be the last one to eat. And that concept carries over to everything else that we do in life. And all of this stuff is hard, right? None of this is easy. It's uncomfortable, but you got to choose your hard. Everything we do in life is hard. To me, the hardest thing would be being poor and broke, right? So I'm going to choose my hard. I'd rather do these things than be poor, because no matter what, it's going to be hard. All right, some attraction principles. This is written on my mirror at home, right? Would you follow you? Every day when I get up in the morning, I got to look at myself and see, am I doing the things, am I holding myself to the standard that I expect of me and I expect of everybody else? And you got to ask yourself, would you follow you? Because if the answer is I'm not sure, you might have to reevaluate your priorities. Building bulletproof trust. It's important to have collaboration and get input and bring people together. And there's times when you just got to make a decision, right, to go towards the gunfire. And you have to invest the time and effort to have that bulletproof trust with your people, where they're not going to question when it's time to go take that quick action. And that's something that just is that if it's at the forefront of how you conduct yourself and everything you do, transparency, openness, that trust is going to get built, and when it's time to go towards the gunfire, nobody's going to ever hesitate to follow you there. Treat everyone, how you treat everyone matters. I can't tell you how many people that I've personally sponsored. I have 2 classmates from high school I didn't talk to in 20 years. They got the real estate license, and they remembered I was nice to them in high school. I don't even remember it, but that's the reason they joined. I had an agent that went to a showing, and I heard her crying in the bedroom, and she came out, and I hugged her. Her broker was yelling at her about something, and she was just stressed out that day, and I just told her it's going to be all right. Can I help you? Is there anything I can do for you? Didn't talk to her again for 6 months. She called me one day, said, I'm ready. Can I join your team at EXP? Every single thing that we do, every interaction that we have matters, and you never know when that little thing is going to lead to a big thing. One of those girls could be my rock star that's going to bring in 500 agents, right? You never know. But how you treat everyone matters all the time. And just don't be rude to anybody. Don't be a jerk, right? It's pretty simple. Kina ole. There you go. Kina ole. Kina ole?
Yole.
All right, what is your why for them? This is always at the forefront when I have conversations with agents, is it's not about me, right? When you talk about this is my exit strategy and this is my way to have residual income, this is how much stock I have, it's not about them. It's always about them. What is your pain point? What can I solve? What can I help you with? How can I help you grow your business? What is your why for them? Always think about that, because it's not about us, right? It's never about us when somebody's making a big decision like that. And people don't die for their country, they die for their friends, right? And I believe people don't join EXP for their broker, or for the rev share, or for the stock. They've joined with their friends a lot of times. And if we can be people's friends, we're gonna have a lot more people join. And just something to keep in mind, that sometimes we focus too much on the tangible money stuff and not enough on just, like Brent says, building the love boat, right? Build the love boat and they will come. All right, some tangible stuff here, guys. 5 actions, tangible stuff on how I've built my team and just the stuff that I live by is, if it matters, write it down, right? We have to have the discipline to put in the work to create documents and create systems that we can duplicate and other people can implement. So the first one is a culture code. What are your principles? I started with this with my family. I wrote down 12 things that how we would conduct business and how we would treat each other. The first one being no greed, because if you're working amongst your family, you don't want money to come in between you and your family members. So think about this. Sit down. Think hard about what is your culture code. What kind of culture do you want to build in your organization, your sales team, your rev share group? Because people are going to be drawn to it if you have it clearly written down and articulated, and it's something that people can read and want to be a part of. Operating procedures. Again, boring stuff, right? But if you have an operating procedure on how you open escrow, how you put a listing out, all of the things that you do on a daily basis, now you can get other agents to do that and help them implement it, and you don't have to do it anymore. And if you can duplicate it, sky's the limit on how much business you can do. So take the time and write down operating procedures on how you do every single thing that you do. When you have that initial contact with a buyer, what do you do at that point? Do you put it in your CRM? Do you put it in your phone? Do you fill out a form? What do you do? And have that process so it's duplicatable. Checklists. I love checklists for everything. You can't screw it up if there's a checklist, right? Everybody in the military is retarded, so it's like you have to have a checklist on how to start the truck, because you're gonna screw it up, right? You have idiot 18-year-old kids that have never done anything in their life. You have to have a checklist. But this applies to a brand new real estate agent, right? We treat brand new agents badly because we think they're stupid, but it's because we never gave them the guidance that they needed to be successful. And a simple checklist can solve that problem for you. Templates. Anything you can do once, you should never do twice, right? I have literally 50% of the emails I send are cut and pasted from a Google Doc. So anytime I get an email from you, especially when it comes to attraction, I have a cut and paste email that look like I wrote it personally for you. I might customize a couple of things in it, but has links to resources about the team, has links to join EXP, has more information, whatever it is. But templates, templates, templates. If you write the same email twice in a month, you should make a template out of it so you never have to spend that time. It's about efficiency and putting out as much content and effort as you possibly can without spending more time doing it. And then a resource library. You guys have tons of stuff that you have access, information you have access to, and we gotta provide that to our agents that join because they need information. So just think about what can you do to build a website and have a resource library and make it easy for people to find stuff. This is the only way to scale, you guys. It's the only way. You can duplicate this over and over and over and over again. There's no reason why we can't go to 200, 300, 400 agents. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind because we have the systems in place to do it, but it took time to build those systems. It took years to build those systems. But once they're there, real quick and easy to duplicate. All right, so some final thoughts, you guys. When you're having trouble finding your purpose, when people ask me, do you like real estate? Do you love real estate? My answer is not really. Tim Ferriss wrote this in the 4-Hour Workweek. What you do what you love and never work a day in your life is BS, right? Most of the things that we love to do don't pay us money. But if you can do the thing that provides you the maximum time and resources to do the things that you love, you will become passionate about that thing. And that's the way I feel about real estate. This gives me the life and the time the resources and the time to do the things that I love to do, like spend time with my family, go to the beach, ride a four-wheeler, do jujitsu, all the stuff that I love to do in life, right? So think about it that way. When you need purpose and real estate's kind of hard, why are you doing it? Because it's probably not because you love it, right? So just flip it around a little bit, look at it a different way. And then perspective, you guys. This is probably the biggest thing that I've taken away that guides my life now in everything that I do is if you're not getting shot at, it's a good day, you guys. It's a freaking good day, okay? So I don't care what deal fell apart, what agent joined with somebody else, all the stupid crap that you get bummed out about and sad about. If you didn't get shot at, you got nothing to worry about, all right? So just remember that. This is my contact information. If you want to get a hold of me, that QR code takes you to my contact card. Feel free to reach out about anything I can help you with, especially if you're feeling down about yourself and sorry. I'll kick you in the ass and get you going again, all right? So feel free to reach out. Last thing. The word of the week. Kina ole? Kina ole. All right, have a nice day not getting shot at.